And now they're dealing with Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
I know you did not just bring up the Bengals losing to the Jets in like week 7.
I'm going with the...
Welcome to FN Studios. Here with Cody, Kevin, and Greg, this is
The Dropout Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Dropout Sports Show. My name is Cody. Kevin's somewhere. Greg is somewhere. We've got some Super Bowl talk today, and I'm also going to recap the games that just happened about a week ago. But first, I want to ask how you guys have been because it's been just a little bit longer than usual. Kevin, how have you been?
College has been a grind as always, especially with screenwriting in action. But it's just every week when I get to sit down with you boys, talk sports, that I get to truly unwind. And I hope that's the same for the audience. Greg.
Yeah, I'm busy still. Busy semester in school right now, but I'm having fun with it. So that's all that matters. I'm ready for Super Bowl Sunday.
Who isn't ready for Super Bowl Sunday? Real quick, I just want to recap the AFC Championship. First of all, I've been great. Nothing much else going on. Working out. Really happy for my team, but we'll get to that. The AFC Championship game happened. The Chiefs were up by a lot at one point, and then they weren't when the game ended. That's basically it. The Bengals are in the Super Bowl. Second, we have the NFC Championship, and the 49ers-Rams was a little bit lower scoring than the Chiefs-Bengals game, but, the 49ers took a good lead, and then it ended up being the Rams that won. So that's all you really need to know. And now we're up to the point where we got Bengals, Rams, Super Bowl. And before we get into any of the matchups, anything that we have to say about the Super Bowl, we did a prediction for the playoffs. One of us got it right. I don't know who it is, but we got to figure this out because I think it was me.
Let's not talk about our predictions. Let's not do that.
Yeah. They had like the Chiefs and Packers or something.
Yeah, we'll go with the Packers. That sounds better than what I had.
What'd you have? I want to know.
No, let's move on. It wasn't the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, I didn't have him win the Super Bowl. Let's move on.
Ev, I really, really, really want to know your favorite matchup because I know you're a matchup guy. You love thinking about personal players. I mean, you like talking about teams, but you like picking out a certain player and thinking about their matchup throughout the game and watching that. So what are you thinking?
Overthinking about it over the last week and looking at the teams and like how they're structured, I think they're honestly very similarly structured and also just very well put together. I think this Super Bowl matchup, it's one of the most complete matchups out there because on offense, each team is pretty good to really good on almost every level. Maybe there's been some concerns here and there, especially with the Bengals O-line. But in general, there has been just great offensive play on both sides. And then the defenses, which don't get talked about enough. There are stars on each side. And I think it's just going to come down to which amazing group of players can just outdo another amazing group of players. And when I think about that, I think about the wide receiver cornerback matchup, specifically when it comes to the Rams receiving core versus the Bengals secondary. Again, about not getting talked about enough. Eli Apple, Jesse Bates, Chidobe Awuzie, like these guys are hawks, but like ball hawks, ballers. And then on the other side, Kupp is one of the most sure-handed, sure-routed guys ever. You get him on an out, he's going to break an ankle, catch it 80% of the time. You got Odell, who is still Odell, and I think sometimes we forget that Odell is Odell, for lack of a better term. Tyler Higbee, and who knows? Maybe there's like a fourth guy that can come out of there, like Van Jefferson might have a game. Cam Akers might have some good catches out of the backfield. But I'm looking at the Bengals. I'm hearing things on Twitter from the Bengals people, and the secondary is incredibly stacked. Nobody's talking about it enough, and it's just, I think it's the best matchup, the best talent matchup, and I really don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You're in the Super Bowl, you're going to get some great matchups, and I'm definitely excited to see that for sure. I think my favorite matchup is a group of players against a couple guys. I'm thinking, how is this Bengals offensive line going to deal with Aaron Donald and Von Miller? That's the matchup I'm looking for, because they've allowed 13 sacks in 3 playoff games. That's a lot by itself. They allowed 9 in one game against the Titans. 9 of them in one game. And now they're dealing with Aaron Donald and Von Miller. Joe Burrow, he's going to have to be moving. That's all I can say, I guess. And he did a good job against the Chiefs with that. He got out of the pocket and ran when he needed to. But he's really going to have to be on his game. He's going to have to be getting the ball out early. He's going to have to, get out of the pocket, find the open guy, or even run, or check down. He's gonna have to be ready for guys to be on him very quickly. That's the matchup I'm looking forward to. If the offensive line can deal with Von Miller and Aaron Donald effectively, obviously that makes the Bengals' chances way better. I think that Rams defense that's going to be what decides the game.
And I just wanted to bring up and say that as a Bengals fan, I'd be lying if I wasn't worried about the defensive line of the Rams versus the offensive line of the Bengals, especially with how they've been playing. But everybody said that since the Bengals had trouble with the Titans, they were going to have trouble with the Chiefs. But what did the Bengals do? They figured out a way to stop Chris Jones.
No. The Titans are so much better.
That's fine. But Chris Jones is still an elite pass rusher, and the Chiefs were really figuring something out with their defensive line as of recently. But what I'm saying is you can say and say that it's a huge worry, and it is for the D-line against the Bengals offensive line, but you can't ignore that the Bengals all season, when they have had worries in certain areas, that's when they figured it out. The next game, when people are doubting a part of their team, that part of their team takes off. They've defined all the odds that media or any analyst or any other defensive coordinator of a team, like the Ravens defensive coordinator said, it doesn't matter. They just go out there and do what they need to do in order to win.
All right, and Cody, before I get to yours, I also got to respond to that. Let's just take data points for example. 3 playoff games, 13 sacks total, 9 sacks in the Titans game. That means 4 sacks in 2 games. That's not terrible. It's not perfect.
It's not terrible, but wouldn't you rather a team allow 4.3 sacks in each game to get to that 13 sack total rather than 9 sacks in one game? Because that shows that they can have a giant weakness that's possible in one single game.
And I'll add one more on top of that, and to say that I think I bring this up every time Aaron Donald's brought up, but it's not just Aaron Donald. It's A'Shawn Robinson, who has been balling out this postseason. It's Leonard Floyd, who, he hasn't had the best postseason, but he's been in the Super Bowl before. He is a dangerous guy. There's a lot of weapons that can create anything from pass rush sacks to coverage sacks. I mean, I think they're deep on multiple levels, and those multiple levels could lead to more sacks. But I think that worry there, I don't know, it's not as big as 9 sacks. I think that.
Sure, but it's not like they had a couple bad games in the regular season and then figured it all out. Joe Burrow got sacked more than any other quarterback in the entire league this year. It's not like it's just a couple bad games where that happened. It was happening all year, and then that really showed in the Titans game.
I just wanted to say that it didn't matter. They still won the division. Joe Burrow's going to win comeback player of the year, even though he got sacked more than any quarterback in a long time. So that doesn't stop them. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, my favorite matchup for the Super Bowl this year. Honestly, I thought about saying the obvious one that everybody's talking about, and that's Chase versus Ramsey. But that's just not, I think it's going to be a factor, but I think that it's going to be a pretty even matchup. Like, they're going to be going back and forth, punching each other, not actually punching each other, but you never know. My matchup that I'm really excited to see, honestly, is Zach Taylor versus Sean McVay. Zach Taylor was a coach under Sean McVay at the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl last. And Zach Taylor was the quarterback's coach for Jared Goff that year on the Rams. And that's when the Bengals ended up hiring him. They announced the hiring right before the Super Bowl. And he worked under him for a little bit, and they still talk apparently. But I'm interested to see if the inexperienced Bengals, coached by an inexperienced Zach Taylor, who has now just faced his first year of success against a very experienced now top-tier talent coach, Sean McVay, who's already been there before. I'm interested to see how that ends up working out, and if Sean McVay knows much about how Zach Taylor will coach as a head coach. But that's definitely what I'm looking out for most.
I don't know. When I said it before, when these two teams are some of the most complete teams that we've ever seen, I think when we're talking about matchups and we're talking about player versus player or group versus group, we do end up losing sight of there are X's and O's that go into these matchups. So I really appreciate that point of view, and I am jealous I didn't think about that.
It's okay to be jealous. I mean, just like Greg's jealous that my team's in the Super Bowl and his is sitting at home watching Baker Mayfield State Farm commercials on every 30 seconds.
This man's getting way too confident without a ring. I'm telling you what, way too confident. And there's no ring on any of those. Well,
no Bengals players have a ring on their finger. Not one. One player on their team has a Super Bowl experience, and it's one time, and it is a backup safety.
Other than that, though, I think we're going to get into our game predictions, right? We got to get into you got to predict the Super Bowl game. So let's get into that. Cody, I think we can go with you first. I'm pretty sure we can all safely assume who you're going to go with.
Well, my prediction at the beginning of our recording was Rams, Bengals win. But sadly, I'm going to have to continue with my answer of Bengals winning. That's what I'm going to go with. Bengals are Super Bowl champions for the first time in the franchise history. Joe Burrow becomes a legendary football player, and I win some of the dumb bets I made on the Super Bowl, and I'll be a happy guy tomorrow or Sunday.
Dude, if Snoop Dogg takes a blunt.
If Snoop Dogg smokes a blunt at halftime, I could be a very rich man.
And wait, no, it's the state of California.
Exactly.
What makes that? Cody, you're gonna be rich.
I'm rich.
That's all I can say. I guess I'll go next. I really can't predict it, but with hands tied, I'm going with the Rams. Qualifications for it being home stadium, everybody's healthy, good on all three fronts on the defense, good on every single front on the offense. There is some worry at the tackle positions for them, but they're too complete to root against. I don't know. They've seen all the good teams and they beat all the good teams. I don't know what else to say besides they're good.
So here's what I'm thinking. The Bengals play the Raiders in the wild card round. Raiders were driving down the field. Bengals got a nice sack. They barely skated by. Game almost went into overtime. Titans game. Game's tied up. Drive down the field. McPherson, game-winning kick. Barely skated by. Chiefs game. Down by however many at halftime. Comeback. Great comeback. Beat a great team twice. One on an Evan McPherson field goal. Again, barely skated by. They're not going to keep doing that. It's not going to keep happening. Their time is up. There's no way that they can keep having this type of luck. And I'm not saying everything they're doing is luck. They're a Super Bowl team. They've had a great year. Although, let's not forget, this is a team that lost to the Jets. This is a team that lost to the Bears. This is still that exact same team. They barely skated by the Raiders. They barely skated by the Titans. They barely got by the Chiefs. Those are great playoff teams, sure, but that's over with. The Rams are too good. Matthew Stafford coming to LA. They're at their home stadium. He's gonna win his first year away from Detroit. He's gonna win a Super Bowl. And honestly, I love that. I love that narrative. But yeah, I gotta go with the Rams.
I know you did not just bring up the Bengals losing to the Jets in like week 7.
But what team was that? It was the 2021 Bengals. They lost to the Jets.
And the 2021 Rams lost to the Broncos.
The Broncos are a lot better than the Jets. They're a lot better than the Bears. The two of the teams that the Bengals lost.
Boys, are we debating best loss here?
Yeah, absolutely. If we have a team here that can lose to the Jets, that can lose to the Bears, if it was just one, maybe I'd let it go. But it's both of those. This team is, sure, whatever, Super Bowl team. But are they? I still don't believe that they're the best team coming out of that could have come out of the AFC. There were 2, maybe 3 teams that were better than them that would be here if we were just basing it off of talent and who is the best team in the AFC. The Bengals are not the best AFC team. The Rams very possibly could be the best NFC team. The Rams deserve to be here in my eyes more than the Bengals.
I've got nothing to say to that atrocious way of describing. I'm okay with choosing the other team, but the way that you decided to choose it was just astronomically bad. This is a team that lost to the Jets in week 7. So that must mean that if they lost to the Jets and the Rams didn't play the Jets, that means that they're worse and they lose. That's what it felt like.
No, you're taking the wrong things here. You forgot that. Listen, I already talked about Von Miller and Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is Defensive Player of the Year, best defensive player in the league by a big margin. He's going to be all over Joe Burrow. They barely beat the Raiders. They barely beat the Titans. Barely beat the Chiefs. Their luck is done.
The Bengals played like the best pass rusher. He's not Defensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt is, and the Bengals held him to literally probably, I think it was half a sack.
Listen, TJ Watt is being covered. He's single coverage all the time. Aaron Donald is being triple teamed sometimes. And there's a reason why he's being triple teamed sometimes and TJ Watt's not. TJ Watt is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but Aaron Donald is a lot better than TJ Watt.
Not this year he wasn't, and I'll continue to say that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to figure out a way. Whatever may happen, he will find a way. The Bengals will find a way. They have found a way all year. There's no way they're not going to find a way this Sunday. Guys, please don't listen to Greg. We'll see you guys next week. Go ahead and watch the Super Bowl this Sunday and think about us. Go ahead and comment for other videos that we're going to do. With the NFL season ending soon, we're going to be looking for some cool video ideas, so just let us know. Thanks for tuning in today. We are the Dropout Sports. Thank you again. See you later.